could become instruments of God, that their lives would be a revelation to Him. As a member of the graduation mentoring program at Tougaloo College, Dr. Allie Louise Elmore Randall has certainly shared her time, her talents, experiences, strengths, and personality to improve the lives of young people. Tonight, she has sponsored a table for our young mentees. Ladies and gentlemen, our 2009 inductee in religion, Dr. Allie Louise Elmore Randall.
Allie Louise Elmore Randall. Dr. Allie Louise Elmore Randall is one of the most compassionate and accomplished women of her generation. She is a distinguished educator, inspirational speaker, historical researcher, and writer of family and church history. Her contributions to the Christian and educational communities distinguish her as a woman of valor and honor. She is the first of 8 children born to Thomas Carr Elmore Sr. and Teresa Garrett Elmore of Jackson, Mississippi. Growing up in a good Christian home, her parents saw to it that all 8 of their children were involved in church activities and cultural development programs, as well as earning college degrees. She graduated in 1951 with a B.S. in home economics. Additionally, she holds an M.S. in education from the University of Southern California, Los Angeles, and an EDD in educational leadership from Nova Southeastern University in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. As a Christian woman, her resume is extensive. Dr. Elmore Randall is a respected leader in church affairs and civic concerns. At the First AME Church, she has held major positions and responsibilities, including trustee, class leader, director of the Young People's Department, Sunday school superintendent, wedding director, church reporter, and soloist in the Cathedral Choir. She has served as a member of the Women's Missionary Society at various levels of the AME Church. As former chairperson of the Heritage Committee, she is in the process of writing the history of her local church. In keeping with her Christian calling, during the Civil Rights struggle, Dr. Elmore Randall marched with Martin Luther King Jr. in the Watts area of South Los Angeles and later led over 250 boys to the Pasadena Boys Club. After the Brown v. Board of Education decision, when riots broke out at Pasadena High School, Mrs. Edwards, the principal, called upon her to assist in counseling the female students during that time. Her 47 years as an educator have been marked by exemplary service and dedicated effort toward the welfare and enlightenment of youth, their families, and the community. During her career, she compiled a long list of honors, awards, and citations, including commendations from the city of Pasadena. For achievement and distinction in the fields of religion, education, and social and civic concerns, Dr. Elmore Randall has been nationally recognized each year since 1992. She is a life member of the Tougaloo College National Alumni Association, University of Southern California Alumni Association, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and the NAACP. She is also a member of Phi Delta Kappa International. She is also a charter member of the Community Women of San Gabriel Valley. Dr. Allie Louise Elmore Randall.
I stand before you in deep humility, and yet I'm happy and elated to see all of you and to be standing here in the presence of God and His people. I never knew when my father and my mother took me by the hand in 1938 and led me to Daniel Hand School and put me in the class with Mrs. Lucille Frazier, who lives only a few blocks away from this campus. Tougaloo, Eagle Queen, I love thee. Every time I hear that song, I don't know why, but tears rose up in my eyes. Because when you realize that I'm a product of a slave girl, who was among the first 8 girls, as oral history tells me, lived in the mansion right after Brody sold the property. And the American Missionary Association came down and started a school to educate previously owned slaves. And to be standing here of a great-great-grandmother who was a slave on this property, to be here, to be the daughter of T.C. Almore Sr., who was a 1924 graduate of Tougaloo, to be here, standing on the shoulders and in the memory and the spirit of a great-great-uncle who is our first alumni president of Tougaloo College, Edmund Garrett. And there are so many in the triple digits of the Hilliards, the Slaughters, the Wards, the Garretts, and the Almores who went to Tougaloo College. Tougaloo College was the first integrated school in the state because the people who came and started of the American Missionary Association, they were from the East, and they came and brought their families, and they were our teachers in those days. What we would want to remember, that Tougaloo is still like a family. I need to thank my wonderful, wonderful friend, Dr. H.T. Drake, for nominating me. He was so unselfish. I love you. I want to thank this nominating committee, the committee that selected me, the selection committee. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I want to thank my family that's here, and I see some of them out there, and if you may not want to stand, but wave your hand, because I'm so happy that you're here. I see somebody back there, and someone over here that's not holding up the hand. There's some over there. Thank you. I'd like to thank my immediate siblings. There are 7 of us left out of the 8. I'm the oldest of the 8, of 8 children. They are not here because of illness or other reasons, but they're here in spirit, and they've supported me all the way. I'd like to thank my sponsor. Can you imagine a young man that I just met a few years ago, that he's my sponsor? And that's Mr. Chase Gayton back there in the back. He was wonderful, and he invited me to be his special guest when he came to Pasadena at the UNCL. I'd like to also thank the chairs of this event, Mrs. Dolch and Dr. Anderson. I tell you, I called them so often, and they were so patient with me and giving me answers. Mrs. Bridgman and Dexter Robinson, who took all those calls and were very sympathetic. Karen Wilson, and that's the idea that I was telling you earlier about Tougaloo is still a family, because the house over there came and gave me support when I needed to come on the campus, and I could sit in that little office and write down things I needed to write. I want to thank Mr. Turner, who kept us informed through his emails and information that we needed to know about the school before we got here. I'd like to thank the family of Tougaloo and the community. I'd like to thank the students who are still striving to be the kind of students we'd like for them to be. And I'd like for my mentees that are here to please stand, and I see you back there, because we need other mentors. So stand so they can see who you are. there's some special people that I'd like to have stand. And that's the TC Alumni Lodge number 242 who bought a table and they're way in the back. Would you please stand? And then I'd like to thank the TC Alumni Court, the women who also supported, and the TC Alumni Palace of Children. I'd like to thank Mr. Kendrick Law, who is a member of First Name